Hello, and today we're going to be presenting about the global issues from page 200 to 277 from the graphic novel Persepolis. And in this group it's Anna, Catalina, Sophie, and Vincent. Within these pages we discussed about the global issues that are in them, which is war, mental health, religion, gender, sexism, inequality, repression, suicide, sexuality, racism, and addiction. We chose to discuss about mental health and addiction. Our thesis is that through a specific style, symbolism, and first-person narration, Persepolis shows how cultural change can lead to addiction and damaged mental health.
The style of the novel relates to how the characters are feeling in each panel. It relates to their emotions in that very time mentally. So, for example, when she's feeling depressed and things have gone bad, the panel tends to be black. An example of this is when her boyfriend tells her that he doesn't love her anymore and he doesn't care much for her presence. She tells us this and she's thinking with uncertainty. This kind of colour swap also becomes apparent whenever she gets verbally abused by people not of her ethnicity.
When it comes to symbolism, the way the lines have been drawn in this exact panel gives great symbolism to its meaning. When people talk about how drugs feel, what the vision is like, it's being described as not usual, blurry, and like everything around you is spinning. In this case, Marjane had drawn all the straight lines as either spirals to insinuate the spinning, and the rest are wavy like it's blurred or moving. It is meant to make the reader feel as though they can visualize what she sees when she's under the influence. In another panel, when she reaches homelessness, she tells us that she would sleep in trams because of warmth and safety. The rails are drawn in squiggles like loops all over the place with no ending. This is a symbol for her life spiraling out of control as she sees no end to her misfortune, like a loop she is stuck in. Trams themselves don't choose or change their path. They follow a continuous loop and know nothing else. A machine. If she were to grow up in Tehran, she wouldn't have been in such a society that accepts drugs as teenagers do because of the extreme laws and rules in Tehran. We think it's safe to say that she would not have become homeless if it weren't for the pressure that she was put under by her peers and people around her who didn't understand her culture, like her ex-boyfriend's mother, that had attacked her verbally, generalizing that she was only there for his money. In another panel, we can see her friend telling her that things would have been different if she was a boy of her ethnicity and had short, curly hair. She was clearly offended by this.
There's a constant direct narration from Marjane. This makes the novel constantly be from her perspective and how she's feeling about certain topics. When it comes to narrative focus, Marjane not only shows us that or what she's feeling with speech bubbles, but she's also, if the panel needs further explanation, she writes what she's thinking, what's happening in the moment, written in past tense. We can tell this by her continuing to ignore her friends, and from the doctor, who were trying to save her life by giving her advice to choose not to smoke. But she does this using a moment-to-moment panel design. You can also see that from her point of view, she doesn't care about drugs, and she doesn't think that they're that big of a deal when it comes to her health, and she thinks it's only about her. And which shows again that the novel is in her point of view. And to conclude, the way that the others treated her by verbal abuse or with criticism towards her religion, race, or the way she looked, it built up a certain rage and discomfort for her. She conveyed this with the way different panels were illustrated, like with the squiggly lines and monotonous colour palette. They helped the reader visualize her drug addiction and her feelings of being trapped in a loop and the feelings that she could never escape. And her drug addiction provided her a way to rebel, as it was the only thing she had complete control over in her life.